guys, welcome to Adventures on a Tabletop. It's the video series in which we play through an entire game. The game of today being Waste Knights 2nd Edition. Alright, so I have to throw some caveats out before we start this. If you don't want 80s spoilers, just don't watch this video because this game relies heavily on that Book of Tales, which it's a very strong narrative game. And I'm going to be reading it as if I were playing it for myself. So we're going to be playing the introductory scenario, which is The Road to Ruin. It's the first scenario that you'll find if you open up that book. So if you don't want any spoilers and you want to experience this firsthand, just don't watch this video. However, if you don't mind that and you just want to enjoy the game for what it is, well, we could just get right into this and play it. So it's a fantastic game. Let me show you why. Let's just go ahead and start playing this game. Alright guys, we're going to be playing Waste Knights 2nd Edition, and we're going to be playing The Road to Ruin, the solitaire scenario. It's the first scenario they have in this book, and probably the one you should play if you're just learning the game. So I'm going to go ahead and read this part to us, and then that'll tell us how to set up our player setup, because we're supposed to skip that for this scenario. In this time of ruination, hardly anyone remembers that before the Scourge, there was a magnificent route circling the continent. You could take it and drive it around Australia in a week. Yet, even though it was a back-breaking journey, long distances, heat, unstable weather, technical difficulties, only the brave few took this trip. Many years have passed since then. The aftermath of the cataclysm and the time have been slowly, yet increasingly, ruining Highway 1. Some parts of it disappeared completely, damaged by explosions. Here and there the desert took its toll, covering whole stretches of the road in sand. In a few strategic places, Cerebro relics mined the highway, turning it into a true field of death. At the same time, untamed nature reminds humans that it rules over the most of this continent now. Nowadays, there exist only a few sectors or few sections of the highway that still serve its original purpose. Fast transportation. That's why everyone calls this horrible route the Road to Ruin. However, some daredevils still try to make the Golden Lap. Those people dream about forgotten places, hidden gems of public infrastructure, petrol stations missed by looters, cargo terminals, towns waiting for enterprising visitor. Or maybe it's all about bragging that you've made it through the National A1. There is no medal for it. At best, just a badge to pin on your ride. But when someone looks at such a crazy fool in the eye, they know that just someone who survived almost 15,000 kilometers of hell. You are one of those daredevils, famous for making the Golden Lap. You thought that it would open up some doors for you, but at the end of the day, you just ended up just where everyone was, living a boring life of a survivor trying to see another day in the waste. So we're going to go and look at page 1 on the Road of Ruin. So that's C1, basically. That's the first entry. That will tell us how we could set up our game. Choose randomly, if you like, the knight you want to play. In this adventure, you can only use the following knights: the Avenger, the Mechanic, Slasher, Spirit Warrior, Stalker, or Trailblazer. Take the chosen knight's sheets, tokens, and personal upgrade cards, return all unused knight elements into the box. And then we're going to set aside the plot tokens 1 through 6. Then we're going to resolve the following match depending on who we've chosen. So I'm going to go and choose that real quickly, and then I'll come right back to this page. So here are some of the characters. Of course, some of these we cannot play because, we can't be Huntress or a Scout because it did not allow us. So we're going to pick one of the classes that it would allow us to play. So actually, I'm going to go and pick this Avenger because he looks pretty interesting. So we're going to be Logan Harris, the Avenger. Then we need to find his cards in here that match his icon down here. Okay, going back to the book again. So we are a Avenger, so we're going to have to look at entry 100 on the Road to Ruin. Ever since the Gangrene Miners' Union was founded in the bustling settlement in the northern part of the continent. The Western Company, a powerful mining operation controlling most excavation sites and refineries in Western Australia, has been losing money. Its board is forced to meet the union members and heed their increasingly peculiar demands. Lack of agreement always means another strike. First successes in negotiations have been Boulder GMU. Now, the miners fight not only for pay raises or less work hours, they knock the company's door whenever they come up with some crazy idea. Canteen meat that doesn't always trigger response from your Geiger counter, well-equipped clubhouses, coal allotments. Having enough, the company board have decided to automate the mining process, especially that they heard rumors of something unique in pumps. The last existing model of the Combine ZX, a huge mining machine that could easily replace most workers from Gangrene. This would also be the end of the unions. However, in order to start off the Combine ZX, they need a daredevil willing to travel along the north coast, finding missing parts, hire mechanics necessary for the machine's servicing, and eventually bring the metal beast to Gangrene. Then the golden age of pit mining shall return. So we're going to go ahead and set aside these plot tokens. I'm going to do that off screen. And then it's going to tell us to go to the plot sheet Wild North. Alright, we got the plot token set up, so let's finish the setup right over here. So place your knight figure on Gangrene. We're going to go ahead and do that. Place the time marker, which is this guy right here. Place the time marker on space 2 of the track. Each round it moves down the track. Place the special marker on the proper space of the track, depending on which knight you are. So again, we're the Avenger. That's going to start in space 5 for us. For this one, it's this blue token right here. That's the dominance marker. So we're going to resolve one more entry, and then we'll be able to start the game. I'm going to have to look at number 70 real quickly. A few days ago, you woke up badly hurt on the back of someone's car, surrounded by members of the Old World Order, an organization aiming to bring Australia back to its former glory. You learned that they found you in a wrecked truck, and that the convoy you'd been guiding had been robbed. The raiders had taken everything, killing or kidnapping everyone who accompanied you. Over 100 souls you were supposed to take care of. Your pregnant wife, Jody, was in that group, too. Her fate remains unknown. When you recovered from the shock and shouted in the desert every curse there is, you decided to follow the gang that had taken everything from you. Literally everything, which practically meant that without some well-paid job, you couldn't even dream about finding Jody. Fortunately, the commander of the OWO squad advised you to visit nearby Gangrene. It's rumored that the Western Company, one of the most influential players in the western part of the continent, needs a courier. Once there, you learned it was supposed to be a long trip. Visiting a few places up north and finding parts for some mining machine. Damn! Considering the deep shit you were in, you wouldn't hesitate. You wouldn't hesitate 1 second if it was about a nuclear bomb. You accept the job, then took some stuff from the company's armory and a ride that looked decent enough to cover more than 100 kilometers. If everything goes according to your plan, you'll soon run all over these sons of bitches who dare to hurt your loved ones. So this will be the final setup. This will tell us which items we're going to be starting with. We're going to choose a vehicle. I'm just going to randomly pick one off screen. And then our starting goods, which is going to be 2 medicine, 2 ammo, and 2 fuel. So let me get my ammo, my medicine, and my fuel. Alright, and the vehicle we have is the muscle car with forward movement, and I can carry up to 5 gear in my car. The chassis 5, which is the damage I could take before this thing is gonna become wrecked. And I may spend 1 fuel to get 3 additional movement points if I needed to. And the items that I chosen were the sawn-off shotgun, the knife, and the trash armor, all which come readied. If you know anything about this game, the other side is the broken side, so it will come already readied for you. Alright, we are all ready to play now. I have everything set up. So we start over here in Gangren, which is the city which where the miners are at, basically. What we're trying to do is we're trying to go to these different areas in order to collect the parts for that mining robot. These are the plot tokens. If I don't get to one at the end of the round, the timer track's going to move down one space. But if I get to one and I do a plot action, then it's going to move two spaces up. So that's essentially what our goal is for this specific scenario. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try and head over to this direction over here. So again, my muscle car has movement of 4, but since I'm playing Logan Harris, his special ability is this vehicle gets 1 extra speed, so in essence we're going to be moving 5 spaces rather than 4. So let's go ahead and head over to that plot token. We should be able to make it this round. So moving here, these are the highways. It actually doesn't take any movement at all. I could move on them, but moving on to this one, I'm going to have to draw that threat token. So I'm going to do that off screen as when I'm done moving. So we have 0 movement, 2. This is also another threat token, and the sand, it takes 1. So we're at 3 movement. Another highway, so that's 0. So altogether, I'm going to have to draw 3 threat tokens. And I have 4 or 5 to get to these mountains over here. Okay, we have 3. So depending on what event card we draw, it's either going to be the yellow side or the red side if it's an enemy. That's the end of our movement. We're going to match up the encounter card we're going to draw depending on the terrain. So this one is mountains. I'm going to draw the mountain terrain and see what we have over here. Alright, we have a cave mandibular. The enemy ignores attacks made with 2-handed weapons, which I'm fine. All my weapons are one-handed. He has a melee attack he's going to do, and if he gets a fate icon on his dice, this enemy is going to deal 1 extra damage. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to kill him before it gets to his turn, because he does not have Relentless, which is a trait. And then we have those threat tokens, so his health is up by 1. He's going to do 1 extra damage to me, and he automatically has a fate token. Those are actually pretty easy, because that shotgun should be able to kill him before it even gets to his melee attack. So I'm going to go and use my shotgun and use this ammo. So his guns are, he has 1 white and the green die, and the shotgun also gives me a white and a green die. So 2 whites, 2 greens, that's what I'm rolling for my attack. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we only needed 3 to kill him, but because he had that threat token, he has 4, which we have plenty right there. And he's finished. He's defeated. So the reward we get from him is one of the gear cards. That's it. We don't get experience or anything. And these threat tokens, they're going to put right back in that bag. Alright, so anytime you get gear, you have to take it from the back. So let's go and grab one of those. Alright, we find a military bow, a 2-handed weapon. So if I equip that right now, I would have to put the shotgun and the knife in the car. It's going to roll a white and blue die. That blue die is slightly better than that green die, but that's, of course, it's the same white die as I was rolling in the shotgun. So it's a little bit better, but the good thing is it doesn't require any ammo. As long as I have the bow, I could shoot it. So actually, that's pretty good. I actually might change out my shotgun for that bow. Alright, we're going to put the knife and the shotgun in the car. And I could fit three more things in the car. Well, that was just our first action, so now we could do the second action, which is going to be this plot action right here. So let's go and resolve that. And this is going to move up 2 spaces because we're resolving a plot action according to our scenario sheet. Alright, now we're on plot token 1. We're going to go and look up entry 13. Without full technical documentation about Comb Mine ZX, no one in the waste will manage to turn on this giant machine, not to mention disassembling it for transport or putting it back together. So it's probably good news that the Abagorans living around the Sacred Plateau store every single piece of paper they encounter in their travels. For a proper fee, they can give access to the so-called Eternal Repository, full of piles of all kinds of waste paper. So we may choose one. We may go to the Eternal Repository to get the technical documentation, or you won't pay a dime for some papers, you'll get them in a different way. If we were the Spirit Warrior, we could choose this, which we're not. So it's option 1 or option 2. I think the best thing to do is go to the Eternal Repository to get the technical documentation. So let's resolve entry 36 in this book. You're told to go to a huge, colorful tent full of shelves heavy with all kinds of paper, from scraps of pages torn out from notebooks to sets of fat tomes. You're greeted by the Grand Archivist, a white-haired Abhorn wearing a flowing robe and a strange black top hat with a bullet hole. So, you're one sent from Gangren. It's a lot of paper. We'll see if you can afford it, says the man before you can even open your mouth. It wants us to test or negotiate with Ford. And it looks like we may discard any number of your gear cards and or resources to obtain a number of additional successes equal to their value. Well, my negotiate's not that impressive. It's 2 white die. I guess it's average. It could be worse. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this 1 bullet because I don't need that anymore. And I think I'm going to get rid of my knife. So this would be basically 1 success, 2 success before I even roll. So hopefully that should be okay for us. Oh, wow, we barely got that. So 2 successes plus the 2 from the gear and the bullet I sold. So we had 4 successes. That was enough to pass. Okay, so you make a deal with the man, and a few moments later he brings a box full of file holders and blueprints. We're going to gain 1 experience. We're going to note in the Outbook Chronicles that you have the full documentation about the Coal Mine ZX. Move the dominance marker space 1 up on the track. Alright, so I gained 1 experience. And this is going to move 1 up on this track, so we're at 6 now. If it ever reaches 8 or below 3, we'll have to read an encounter, but I think we'll be okay. We don't have to do that right now. Alright, well, I took down the notes that we have the full documentation. That was my 2 actions, so that's the end of my turn. That's the end of the round. And this is going to move 1 space down. Alright, we're in round 2. We need to head up this way to number 2. That's the second plot token. And I cannot get past this crater, so I'm going to have to travel around it. I might just go around this way. Again, this is the highway, so it doesn't take any movement points. And then we have desert, highway, desert. This one has a marker. I'm going to have to take a contaminated wound, it looks like. And then we should be able to reach it up here this turn. So we have 0, 1, 1, 2. I'm going to go ahead and take that off screen. And then 3, 4. We reached it all the way up to here. Alright, and we ended our movement, so we have to resolve an encounter. And we're still in the mountains, so let me draw the mountain card. Alright, we found the turkey tribe. That's quite unusual. It has a melee attack with 2 green and blue, which I'm very, very positive I'll be able to kill it with this military bow. And the fate token, or fate, if it gets 1 on its dice, if it happens to get to that point. It's going to do X amount of damage to me, where X is the number of enemy cards in all Wasteland discard pile, which right now there's only 1 from that Cave Mandibular we fought last turn. So we should be able to easily kill this thing. So I'm going to go and do my ranged attack with the military bow. Holy cow. Alright, we have 2, 3, 4, 5. That's plenty to kill the turkey tribe, because it only had 4. So we defeated it. So as for defeating this guy, we get 1 more experience, and then we're going to get another gear card from the back of that stack. So I will go and do that real quickly. Alright, I gained my 1 experience, and now let's see what we got from this guy. Alright, I found Mill Feed. When performing the camp action, you may discard this card to heal 2 radiation and 2 damage. That's actually very useful. Radiation is very costly to get rid of it, so that's actually very useful. And I may sell it for 1 if I needed to. This also is like gear, so it's going to be in my card. It's considered always equipped. I don't have to have it in my hands to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my muscle card, and we shall continue. Back to 2 spaces on my muscle card. I could still fit 3 more items. Alright, that was the end of our movement action. Let's go ahead and do our plot action. Again, picking this one up is going to move that time tracker up 2 spaces, so I'll go ahead and do that off screen. Alright, this time looks like we're going to entry 23. The road up to the ridge of the crater where the abandoned relay station is located is hard, but finally you reach the building you've been looking for. Underneath your feet lies a basin full of dark seawater and rusted antenna dishes, but they're of no interest to you. Inside the building you use signs for the long dead personnel to find the proper room. After some time you reach the control center, in which you're supposed to find a communicator necessary for the proper operation of the Combine ZX. Unfortunately, you have to pry it out of a large powered panel. Alright, we may choose to carefully remove the communicator, C47, or you may choose the brutal way and hit the panel with the crowbar. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think we should probably carefully remove this communicator. I'm gonna choose that option. I don't think I want to hit this with the crowbar. Alright, we're gonna slowly get this out because I think it's the safer option. Not only that, but when did I get a crowbar? I mean... Okay, so we're gonna carefully get it out. It wants us to test our tech 2. His tech is okay. He's got 1 white and 1 green die. That's okay. He might very well get this. Oh, I barely got that. So there's our 2 successes right there. The communicator is yours. It will make the cold cutter work more effectively and limit the number of necessary operators. The problem is the device seems to be losing power when disconnected from the panel. Skip the fail part below, which we're going to do. No matter the test result, move the dominance marker 2 spaces up the track, then take card number 5 from the special deck and place it face up next to your vehicle sheet. This is the communicator. It is not treated as a gear card and you cannot lose, break, barter, or exchange it in any way, but it takes 1 space. Ignore the effects from its card and immediately place 3 general tokens on it. They represent the battery status on the device. Discard 1 token from the communicator at the end of each round. So, okay, let's go ahead and grab that communicator. Okay, so that communicator can be found in this stack over here. Right over here. This is the communicator. Alright, there is our handy-dandy communicator with the 3 general tokens on it. And that's the end of the round, so we're going to go ahead and move that time marker down again. Alright, and if you recall, if the dominance marker is moved below 3 or at 8 or higher, we have to check this number. The dominance marker is currently at number 8, so let's go and resolve number 59. Perform 1 free regain consciousness action. You encounter a group of suspicious strangers who, for no apparent reason, piled old tires in the middle of the old road and lit them up. At the very last moment, you press the brake and stop no more than a meter away from a tough-looking man, probably their leader. His face is smeared with some blackish grease, and only his white eyes remind you that you're dealing with a living person and not some charred corpse. You recognize the crew now. This is the band of the meanest bastards, raised and born in Gargrin mines, who must have decided to practice the most effective methods of fighting for their employee rights. It wants us to take card number 10 from the special deck and place it face up next to the plot sheet. These are the GMU negotiators, the enforcers of the miners fighting for the influence within the Western Company. Resolve the proper entry depending on the position of the dominance track on the track, which is going to be 145. So I'm still going to do this regain 1 free consciousness action. The only damage I have is that 1 contaminated wound I took this turn, so I'm going to get rid of that one. And I'll take card number 10, and I'll look this up in just a moment for us. Alright, now here is our entry. "Get out of here, you dickhead!" shouts the man, his fists raised high. Now, you know that these are the representatives of the union members from Gardrin, but there's no time to fiddle around. You'll be lynched in a moment. You push the pedal to the metal, and the miner's boss jumps out of the way in the very last moment. As you pass the dirty faces of the negotiators, they start to whistle. It's just the background noise. You still need to find your way among the burning tires. We're going to roll 2 white dice. Your vehicle suffers damage equal to the number of successes. So let's go ahead and do that real quickly. Oh, dang. Alright, so I'm going to suffer 3 damage on my muscle card. Alright, here's my damage from my vehicle. I could take that 3 marker, but I like the individual ones more, so I'm going to take those. Alright, we have taken 3 damage out of the possible 5 for my chassis, so we're still in okay shape, I think. I might do a repair action if I ever camp soon. Okay, and then here was that GMU Negotiators card it wanted me to draw out of the deck. It looks like we don't have to fight it right now. It just wants us to place it next to the plot sheet, so we'll leave it there for right now until something happens to it. Okay, we're at the end of the round. Let's go ahead and move this time marker down. Alright, we're on the 3rd round now. We need to head over to this area to get to the 3rd plot token. If you recall, if I go back on this space, I'm going to get another contaminated wound, which I was able to get rid of my last one because of that regain consciousness action that the entry allowed me to take. Or I could just take this mountain and I can avoid it altogether. I'm going to go and just take this path because I don't mind taking that damage, because I need to camp at some point to repair the damage on my car, and I might as well just do that while I'm camping anyway, so I'm just going to go and take this path to get down there. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 3, and I'm going to draw that token out in just a moment. 3, 4, 4, and I think this might be sand. It's not quite any type of terrain, but I think it's supposed to be sand, so I'm going to go and make that 5 to get over here. And I'm going to take a radiation, and I'm going to take a contaminated wound, and I'm going to draw that threat token out, so I'm going to go and do that off screen. Alright, let's see what kind of goodness we have this time. It's either 2 damage or 1 damage, depending on what my card is. So as you can tell, I've taken that 2 contaminated damage and that 1 radiation for moving on those spaces, which again I'm fine with. I'm not even worried about it. So let's go ahead and resolve the encounter card. Alright, we found the Seekers, or I guess perhaps they found us. They have a ranged attack, so if I do a ranged attack, we're going to shoot each other at the same time. This enemy gains X additional white dice, where X is the total number of gear cards you have, which is actually a whole lot. Oh, this could be nasty. So my total gear cards are 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm not considering this communicator, even though it's taken up a space. I don't think it was considered a gear card, so they're going to be doing a lot of damage to us, potentially. Alright, so we are doing this simultaneously, but I'm going to roll my dice first, and then I'm going to roll their dice, but we're still going to resolve the damage and etc. at the same time. Okay, so I did 1, 2, 3, 4. That's enough to kill them, but let's see how much damage they do to me now. Alright, let's hope for the best here. I had to open up my extra dice bag just to get enough white dice for this attack. And keep in mind, they're going to get +2 damage already from that threat token I drew, so maybe it wasn't a good idea to take all those contaminated wounds, because I might be taking a whole bunch here. Holy moly. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from the threat token. Okay, well, it's going to ultimately do 8 damage to me, so even if I were to break this armor, break it once and then do this again, I think you can do that. It doesn't matter. It's still not going to be enough to absorb enough damage to keep me alive. So I'm going to go ahead and just, make myself unconscious to get the card and, keep my armor and such. All right, let's draw an unconscious card. Okay, so that's basically, it's going to end my turn. And my next turn, the only action I can do right off the bat is this regain consciousness, which is going to allow me to heal one of my radiation, which is beneficial to us, and 4 damage. And then we're going to flip this card, and it's going to have some lingering effect. So even though he did kill me, I killed him as well. So I'm still going to get this reward, even though I was knocked unconscious. So that's going to get me 2 experience and another gear card. And then this is going back in the bag. Alright, let's see what we find this time. Alright, we found another weapon. I mean, I guess that's okay. I still think that military bow is better because I'm not using any ammo. And I could barter this. I could sell it for 3. I'm actually going to hold on to it and maybe sell it later. So at the end of my round, since I passed this marker, I am allowed to level up. I could choose one of my upgrade cards, or I could choose the one from the general upgrade cards if I wanted to. And these are double-sided. You could choose the side that you want to choose when you take it. Actually, I think I'm going to take this one right here, the Expert Driver. I may place 1 damage on my vehicle to prevent 1 damage once per turn. That's actually very useful. So if we fight anything nasty like we just fought, we might be able to mitigate some of that damage. So we're going to go ahead and become an Expert Driver. Alright, end of the round. Let's go ahead and move this time marker down. And I'm going to remove another one of those markers from my communicator. Okay, it's back to us. So, of course, we have to resolve that unconscious card first. So the special action is I get to heal 1 of my radiation and 4 damage. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the 3, and then flip one of the contaminated ones over. So we'll go ahead and do that. And now that we're done with that, let's flip this over. And now you lose 1 exploration to a minimal of 1. So actually, that's pretty nasty. So that means whatever I draw for an exploration card, if I don't use fuel, I'm going to have to keep it. So I guess we'll keep that in mind if I ever want to explore. Well, that was a first action. So we still didn't get to do our plot action here because it forced us to end our turn. So I'm going to go ahead and resolve this plot action right here. Alright, now we need to go to number 33. You approach the first bridge, the only solid passage between the 2 halves of the continent. It turns out this way is shut. The stronghold defending the passage and the town is heavily maimed, and with an hour's walk from the bridge, hundreds of travelers are camping, hoping that the gates will open soon. You ask around. It turns out that the passage is under a quarantine. Supposedly there's some horrible virus sweeping the Badlands, and the inhabitants of the first bridge don't want to risk catching it. So we may choose to... You see lots of desperate people around here, and the miners need every pair of hands. Time to persuade some survivors that Gangrene is a great place to live. Or we may instigate the people against the guardians of this passage, spreading false rumors about the virus. But we are an Avenger, so we can actually do this option. So you spot a few judges among the guardians of the stronghold. Maybe your old contacts will help. So we're going to go ahead and look at number 79. You approach the closed gate and ask the guards to call one of the judges. In the past, you used to participate in their operations against biker gangs. It's Mustache George, a bald fellow who's the captain of one of the squads. Logan? What the hell are you loitering around the Badlands? Weren't you supposed to settle, you kangaroo fart? He asks. His face changes when you tell him about the tragedy, and you experience and ask him to let you through the barricade, so that you can finish your job and focus on hunting down the culprits. In exchange, you get information that the crew you described crossed the first bridge not only before the quarantine. You'll probably find them in the pumps where they aim to barter their loot. Regarding the crossing, George tells you to come before dawn when the people camping around are asleep. Such a precedent could cause riots. Note in the Outbook Chronicles that Logan is on the path of vengeance. You lose all remaining actions. If you want to move east of Space Zero, which the first bridge, that's what we're on next round, you cannot move further than 1 space east of it. Okay, so we lost all of our actions. I'm going to note that in our log. Alright, and I have to take this last marker off this communicator because we gained it the first round, we took one off, and then I moved down here and I lost consciousness. And this at the end of this round, so I took this guy off. And that was the last one. Hopefully Hopefully nothing nasty happens. And we're gonna head up to here now. See what we can do up there in Queens Valley. Looks like it's a pretty clear path. There's no dangers ahead of us, other than, you know, difficult terrain, I guess. So let's go ahead and move up to Queens Valley. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this would be 5, 6. So I don't have enough to get in there right yet. I have 5, which is not enough to get in there because I need 6 movement to get over there. So I'm going to go ahead and use some fuel. Okay, doing that gets us 3 extra movement, so that's enough to get, you know, and I had 1 movement point remaining. So we have 1, 2, and this is considered mountains, even though it's a city, because that's the terrain. That's enough to get us into the Queens Valley. And let's go ahead and resolve our event from that area. Alright, we find the Steel Dragonfly. Oh, that thing looks nasty. This enemy ignores your attacks unless you obtain at least 1 fate. Oh, that actually might be painful. He has a melee attack, which is pretty nasty, but hopefully we can get at least 1 range attack, or I'm sorry, 1 fate icon from our range attack, so we should be able to kill him if we were able to do that. Alright, here it goes. Well, I did enough damage, but I'm obviously missing my fate marker, so he ignores all my damage, unfortunately. Well, let's resolve his attack. So he uses one green and 2 blue dice. So he has 1, 2, 3. Alright, we're going to go ahead and break this armor to prevent 1 of that. And then I'm going to put 1 damage on this card from my ability to negate 1 more. And then I'll just take that other 1 damage. Well, he didn't defeat me, nor did I defeat him, so we just part ways and he disappears and I do not get the reward, so he's gone. So I could visit this plot token if I wanted to, but I think I'm actually going to do a city action because I'm in a city now, and there I could visit the quacks and maybe the garage if I need to repair some of this damage. Okay, so my first city action, I think we're going to do, we're going to visit the quack. And I'm going to get rid of, it basically lets you get rid of up to 4 damage and 1 of your radiation tokens if you had one. And then we're going to visit the garage. I'm going to get rid of up to 3 of these. Okay, so that was both my actions because a city action, you can visit 2 shops per 1 city action. So, and I moved up there, so that's both my actions, and that's the end of the round. Alright, let's move this time marker down again. Okay, next round, of course, we're going to start off with this plot token, and that's going to move our time track back up 2 more spaces, so I will do that off screen, and we'll go ahead and look up this plot token for us, which looks like it's going to be number 43. You reach the Queens Valley, a mysterious city in the mountains, a mecca of engineers and scientists, protected by a fleet of flying vessels. The board of the Western Company negotiated with the Queen's representatives that they could use the local workshops and specialists. In other words, a steady supply of coal and ore from Gangren for the help in repeating the coal mine ZX. You take all the items you found from your ride and follow the security guards to a special elevator that takes you to the lab level in the bowels of the city. You hand everything to the right people and sit down in a waiting room for the outsiders. An hour later, the chief mechanic appears. He says that the stuff you had brought has been checked. Resolve the proper entry depending on the game elements you have and notes in the Outbook Chronicles. If you've noted in the Outbook Chronicles that you have full documentation about Combine ZX and you have the special card number 5 with at least 1 general token, which we don't, we lost all of them. If you note in the Outbook Chronicles that you have little data, which we had full documentation, so we skipped that one. If you noted in the Outbook Chronicles that you have little data, etc. Okay, so we don't have that one either. Or, I'm sorry, if you noted in the Outbook Chronicles that you have little data about Combine ZX, and you have the special card 5 without any general tokens, or you have the full documentation about Combine ZX, move the dominance marker space 1 up the track, cross out the note from the Outbook Chronicles, and remove the special card number 5 from the game if possible. Okay, so that's the one we have to do because we don't have the general tokens. But we do have the full documentation, so we're going to go ahead and move one space up on that track. Alright, that was the fourth plot token, and now we have our second action. I suppose we should head over to number 5 over here, which isn't too far away. If I take this path, though, I'm going to have a threat token I'm going to have to draw out, which I guess it's not that bad. So let's go ahead and head over that way. We should be able to make it this round. So we have 2, 3, 3, 4, and again, I don't have enough to get there, so I'm going to have to use more fuel, and then I'm going to get my threat token and my contamination here off screen. And let's go and use that fuel and continue our trek over here. Okay, I spent my last fuel, so I have enough to get over to that other area. So 1, 2, and 3, we have it over here. And let's resolve the card with that threat token and see what happens. Alright, we have a sandstorm. It has one more threat, so I'm going to have to draw another threat token out. And then it wants me to test my Tech 2, and if I pass, I'll gain experience. If I fail, I'm going to have to break 1 working gear for each missing success. And then on top of that, sand in the engines. If you have a light vehicle, it suffers 3 damage. Fortunately, my muscle car is medium, so that's not going to bother me. So let me draw out this other threat token and we'll resolve all of it together. Okay, so we have both of these, but since we're not fighting an enemy, we actually use the yellow side. So I'm going to get 1 more contamination, and I'm going to automatically lose 1 success off my die. So in essence, I basically need 3 successes because I'm going to lose 1 because of this. So let's go and test my tech. Oh, I definitely failed. So I gained 1 success, but I lost it because of that that threat token. So I have 0 successes right here. All right, so I basically have to break 2 things. I can break this thing, the fully automatic. That's what that symbol right there is. I could reroll dice if I wanted to, but again, I still think I'm better off with that military bow. I'm going to break this, and if I break it again, I'm going to basically lose it, and I won't be able to sell it for 3. So I'm going to just break that one, and I think I'll break this sawed-off shotgun. And not that I was using them anyway. So there we go. I still have the mill feed, which I'll use if I ever decide to camp. Okay, so we are all done with the sandstorm. And again, this does not bother us because my vehicle was not light, it was a medium, so that has no effect on us. And these will go back in the bag, and we will get rid of this card. Alright, that's the end of our movement, so we'll go ahead and do this plot action right here, number 5. The second to the last stop on the road to ruin is the Canopy Ranch. It is said that before the scourge that they raised thousands of cows here, and even today you might find some, though for well unknown reasons, such herds are often protected by cerebro constructs. Not so long ago, a certain guy named Butcher Bob started a business on the outskirts of Canopy. He considers himself a big rancher, but he and his cowboys usually steal cows from robots and sell them to survivors. He's the only one who provides the best meat to the Union's canteens. You find Bob there, a well-preserved 50-year-old guy, working his cattle hand in hand with his man. You introduce yourself as the agent of the company. The rancher takes you to a small office where you sit closely and watch the 2 biggest cowboys you've ever seen. After a short conversation, you learn that some of his cows contracted some mysterious disease. Actually, this could be the source of the rumors about the virus and the quarantine in the first bridge. And Bob's freezers are full of tons of contaminated meat. So we may choose. You may suggest that Bob should send contaminated meat to the next delivery to Gandrin, or you may persuade Bob to send a shipment of the good meat to Gandrin, but to write in the report that the company that it's contaminated. And then after that, we're going to note in the Outbook Chronicles that you started the battle of the first bridge. Oh, I'm sorry. If you noted in the Outbook that you started the battle of the first bridge, which we did not, so we'll skip that one. And we are not a spirit warrior, so we skip that one. So we're either going to say that it's contaminated or that it's not contaminated. I'm going to go and do the first option. I'm going to say I'm going to suggest that they send the contaminated meat to the next delivery to Gandrin and not tell him, because that sounds exciting. So let's check out that choice. That kind of a scam, huh? I'm an honest businessman. Why would I do this? Lies Bob through his teeth. Test your negotiate. If you have at least 5 experience, which we do not have. We only have 4. You obtain 1 additional success. So let's go ahead and test our negotiate 3, which Logan Harris is not that great at. Yeah, this will be a miracle if I pass this. Nope, I didn't even get 80 successes. Alright, back to our book. No way, I'm not going to lose reputation because of the games you play in the West. Get the hell out of here. Bob burst with fake anger. You have no intention to fight his bodyguard, so you leave. Move the dominance marker down 1 space on the track. Well, that's our 2 actions. There's nothing else we can do this round, so next round we'll head up there. So I'm going to go ahead and move the time track down, and then we'll go on to the next round. So I think before we move, we're actually going to do a camping action because I'm kind of worried that whatever I might meet over there, it might be enough to kill me. Just going out on a limb. So we're going to go ahead and do a camping action. Alright, so the first part of the camping action is I can heal. Basically, every one of these I turn in, I can heal up to 3. These contaminated ones, it takes 2 to heal them. It takes 1 to flip it over, and then 1 to heal it. And I have 2 of these, so I'm actually going to heal a lot of these contaminated wounds I've been accumulating. So, let's get rid of both of these. So, we have 6 healing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this one is going to remain. And I also have repair 2, so I can repair this trash armor, and then I can repair this 1 damage off my card, because it only takes 1. So I'll go ahead and do that while I'm camping. Alright, we are almost fully healed, so we'll be able to move up there, and then the next round we should be able to resolve that one, provided something doesn't kill us from the encounter we have for moving. But we have plenty of movement to get up there, even though I don't have any fuel left. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, we have 1, 2, 3, and this one is a highway, so it does not require any movement. So again, plenty of movement to get over there. And we're going to resolve the encounter card now. And this one, of course, is the highway. Alright, we have blood bats. No, it's not even vampire bats, it's blood bats. Engagement, so as soon as I engage them, I'm going to suffer 1, which is immediately, because we just engaged them. Even though they're technically doing a melee attack, I'm still going to suffer 1, because that's the start of the engagement. I'm very likely going to be able to kill them with my military bow, but if I don't, they'll be able to do 1 extra damage with their fate token, or fate icon if they roll it, and they roll these 3 dice. Fairly simple. I'm fairly certain that they'll perish very soon. You know, I must say, I really do love this military bow. Like, not having to use any ammo, that is fantastic. And this is pretty powerful. I mean, Logan, he's okay with his guns. There's some knights that are better, but he's still doing fairly well with it. Oh, we actually don't have enough, so I only did 2 damage to him. I needed 3. Alright, well, he's going to attack me. Alright, let's do their attack. So I've already suffered 1 damage from the engagement, so let's see what they do now. Alright, we have the botched icon, which it has no effect at all because it normally would have something on their card, or if that was me, that would be considered a miss, which, no effect, so it's still counted as a miss to them. So they're going to do 2 damage, in addition to the one I've already received, so 3 more damage. Okay, so he didn't defeat me, nor did I defeat him, So we're gonna part ways. He did 3 damage to me, so I'm beginning to regret that I should have taken my mill feed when I was camping, but I was saving it, you know, in case I needed it for something else, maybe like bartering or something. But okay, we're back up to 5 damage now, almost dead again. Alright, well, we made it up there. End the round right there. I'll move that time marker down. I think I might camp again, honestly, before I do that plot action. Now, I could do another camp action to use that mill feed, but since I'm in a city, I might as well just do the city action and then do the plot action. So, in the city action, I'm going to visit that quack. And since I have plenty of stuff, I might as well try to, you know, barter and see if I can find anything useful. I may or may not need it. So, let's check that out. Okay, visiting the quack again. And when you barter, you're going to take 3 cards from the back that you could buy. So I have 2 of them. Wow, we found some interesting stuff. We have a hazmat suit. It can prevent 2 damage. You may break this to prevent 2, which that's what it was doing anyway. You may break this card to prevent up to 1 radiation or up to 2 contamination. Very useful. The assault armor, I could prevent 3. And then I'll break it. The boom ball during the engagement, which is the very first part of the combat, I roll one red die and apply the results. If I obtain a botch symbol, I suffer 1 damage. Then I discard the card. Interesting. You could still break it if you have to. It does the same thing on the other side. The same thing with these other 2, I imagine. Except this one only does 2. I might as well try to get this assault armor, because I'm not using that shotgun, nor am I using the fully automatic rifle over here, so I might as well just sell those to get both of these. So I can't, even if I bought both of these, I can only wear one of them, so I'm better off with the assault armor over this hazmat suit in case I need to really prevent 3 damage, so I need to spend 3 to get that one. Now what I'm going to do is, since I have no resources, I'm going to sell the goods I have in my car. But if you had goods, you could sell your goods 1 for 1 to get up to that cost if you wanted to. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get rid of these 2. It's going to be 3 and so 4. And I'm still going to try to get enough to get that one. So I might sell this mill feed and the trash armor. That should give me enough to get 6. Yeah, because we got 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to sell all of that stuff, and I'll pick that stuff up. Alright, and this boom ball, even though it's technically a weapon, it's still good. I'm just going to put it in the car. It's still considered equipped. And I still may use it. I don't have to put it over here with a weapon, so... Alright, that's good. I think we're definitely set for whatever awaits us in this city. Alright, let's do the plot action. This is number 6, the final one. Let's see what happens. And number 6 is at number 63. Pumps, the final destination of your back-breaking journey along Highway 1. The city expanding around a few barely working refineries and petrol storages. Access to the oil makes the rulers of the pumps one of the forces in the waste to be reckoned with. Even though the gangs prowling in the area around pumps never cause trouble in the city itself, time to tie up all the loose ends. You may perform 1 free camp action, even if you've already performed 1 this turn. Then you may resolve the proper entry depending on the situation in the game. If special card 10 is in the game, see number 92, which, if you recall, number 10 was those GMU negotiators. So we'll have to look up that one. And with that camp action, I might as well just, there's really nothing I can do. I have no medicine, and I don't have anything broken, so that's useless to me. I can't really do anything else. So we'll go and look up number 1, or I'm sorry, we'll look up number 92. When you arrive to pumps, you know very well who's waiting for you there. You realize this won't be only about closing the deal with local petrol mongers. There's also the problem of the union's emissaries. They must be also looking for new members among the refinery workers. See number entry 8. So let's go there. Resolve the proper entry depending on the position of the dominance track. Right now it's currently still sitting on 8, so we're going to go to number 92. If you are the Avenger and you note in the Outbreak Chronicles that Logan is on the path of vengeance, you have to resolve entry 116. So I guess we're not looking to number 98. We're going to go to number 116. We're on the path of vengeance. Among the negotiators, you find a few misfits. One of them is still wearing a jacket of the biker gang responsible for your friends' deaths. You try to learn more, and soon you locate the miners' camp, where the targets also live. You boldly walk forward and call the miner's leader to talk with you. You explain to him why you're here, and he confirms that a group of bikers recently joined his crew. When you demand to give them to you, he shakes his head. I don't care about your past. They're my men now. You won't have them. You threaten that you're ready to kill everyone here unless he agrees. Maybe it's the fire of revenge burning your eyes that makes him reconsider his decision. Alright, we're going to go and test our Negotiate 2. And if we pass, we're going to go to one entry. If we fail, we go to another. So it's Negotiate 2. He might be able to get it. Logan, he's okay at it. Oh, definitely. Critical pass. We have 4 successes. That's the best result you could get on those dice. Alright, looks like we're going to number 133. The miners mob pushes a few bikers out of its ranks. At first they resist, but they spit under the workers' feet and draw weapons. Who the hell are you, loser? Asks one of them. You killed my friends, you answer them back. Tell me where my wife is. They start to laugh. We have killed many people and many wives. Who cares to remember them all? But don't you worry. You'll join your dead friends in no time. Search a chosen wasteland card for the first enemy with looks like the chains enemy. Resolve combat according to the normal rules. The enemy gains threat 3 and relentless. So I'm going to go and do that real quickly. Alright, we found Frag and Hug. He has threat 1, but it gave us threat 3, so I'm assuming I need to draw 4 of them out because he already had one. And he also gained Relentless, which means even if I kill him with my range attack, he still gets to attack before he's defeated. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 4 of them out, just to assume that I need 4. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so before we actually do that, we're going to use this boom ball, because this technically still is the engagement step. It might as well do some damage to him. Roll 1 red die and apply its result. So even if, again, we still kill him here, he's still not gonna be defeated until the resolution phase. So it'll do some damage to him, but it's unlikely it's going to kill him. But it helps us out a little bit. So let's go and roll the 1 red die and hope that we do not get the botched symbol. Well, it did 1 damage, so 1 damage to him, and now we're going to resolve those 4 threat tokens. We're going to draw them out right now. Alright, so here's what I pulled out for my threat tokens. It's actually not that bad. It could have been much worse. We have this one. They get to reroll all the blanks they have just once. They automatically get a fate marker. They gain ambush. And they get to roll one additional white die into their in conjunction with the other dice they're rolling. So actually, that's not that bad. So with them getting ambush, they had a range attack anyway, which doesn't matter, but they still get to attack first. They're going to do a blue, a green, and now a white die. Alright, so they did 3 damage, and they have the fate token now. So it does 3 damage. And the fate token, it does 1 damage, but it's 2 damage if he was making his melee attack. So since he gained ambush, he could technically do either the range or the melee attack. We're going to do the one that's more disadvantaged to us, so we're going to assume he was doing the melee attack. So in combination, he's going to be doing 2 damage here, and so he does 5 damage altogether. Well, you know I'm going to break this assault armor, so we're going to flip it over. That prevented 3 of the damage. And I'm going to take 1 damage to my car. Oh, and this needs to be discarded. And I'll take that other 1 damage I have remaining. Did I mention that I love this bow? This bow is fantastic. I mean, this is amazing. Holy Jesus. Alright, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's actually exactly enough to kill him. Yep, so he had 6. We defeated him. We're going to gain 3 experience and 2 fuel, which is nice because I was out of fuel. Not that I really used it that often. So let's go and take care of that. And these are all removed. back in the bag. And this guy is defeated. So we're going to look up our entry for defeating the enemy and see what happens now. You face each other and raise your weapons. A moment later, the raiders are dead, and you feel that your thirst for revenge is quenched a little. I guess all it took was a boom ball and a military bow. Now you know that vengeance has always been your true and only goal of the journey along the road to ruin. You no longer care for your problems of the North, if you ever did. See number 16. Your knight wins. You do not resolve any other ending connected to the main plot of this adventure. Alright, we won. That's fantastic. We also did level up, but that doesn't matter anymore because the game's over. We won. And we never had to do anything with this card because we normally looks like we would have had to fight them had I not been on my path to vengeance. So since we never did, this one, look how difficult this thing is. 15. That's, whew, wow, that's really nasty. But we got the easier path, looks like, and we won. So that's Waste Knights. Well, guys, that was Waste Knights 2nd edition. Alright, I just have to say, I am completely enamored with this game. It is fantastic. I love adventure games like this that have such a strong narrative feel. And this game is no exception. It is fantastic. And that book of tales, I love the choices you make and the encounters and things that happen to you. It's so interesting. I mean, what was I doing? I was going on this quest to find these parts for this mining robot, and then now I'm on this path to vengeance to, try to find my wife, Jody, and, avenge my friends, and I'm driving around in this muscle car, and, I find this military bow, and it's fantastic. I love stuff like this. Now, I do realize this is only the introductory scenario, but if it plays this well, and I'm so invested in it now, I can't even wait to see what happens later in that book. And, I can't wait to see what else is in that book of tales. It's fantastic. I think there's maybe like 5 or 6 other scenarios from what I've seen, and I noticed there was one that's like 5 hours long, and that sounds crazy to play that, but I don't think it would drag. I think you would play the game and you would be involved the entire time. I don't think you would just sit there and, oh man, this is taking forever. I don't feel it because you get so invested in your character and the story, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but I can't wait to play that one. I can't wait to play the other scenarios. Maybe one day I'll come back and we'll do another video of maybe another scenario, but as it sits, I really enjoyed this one. Well, that was Waste Knights 2nd edition. I do appreciate you going on this adventure with me, and we did it together. It was great. It's fun. But check out my other videos. Thank you for watching Adventures on a Tabletop.